Joining us now, Heisman winner, national champion, and presumably the #1 overall pick, Joe Burrow, joining us here. You just got done with the big crowd saying, you know, you're not going to not play. You're going to play whoever drafts you again. What's it going to be like when that time comes that you're going to be able to be in the NFL?
That's what I want. I'm super excited.
You're ready, right?
I'm ready to do it. You know, we had the great year. I'm tired of talking about the great year. I'm ready to move on. We won the national championship. It was great. We celebrated for a week, and then after that week, I was ready to move on.
Through this process, we were talking about evaluating all the quarterbacks before, and during the process, a lot of coaches, we were talking to some tight ends, and they said, hey, they wanted to go over some film of my drops. And I do like to try to evaluate games where guys struggle to see how they respond to it. I can't find a game from this past season where you struggled. Maybe a throw or a play, but not a game. Do you have a game that you felt this year was like lesser, or that a team would challenge you and say, what happened in this game?
You know, I felt like, I really prided myself in not making the same mistake twice. And, the Ole Miss game, I threw 2 interceptions. First time I've done that since I was 15 years old. So you could look at that game with the turnovers. But I really prided myself on not letting the mistakes that I made snowball and just relying on my preparation. I make a mistake, go back. What did they do? You could dwell on it, or you can think about it critically and think about what the coverage was, what mistake you made, and then fix it on the sideline.
So we were just talking to Justin Jefferson, your teammate at LSU, and he said Joe Brady was instrumental in the offensive changes, and I know you've probably talked about that. And I know you've answered this question, but I talked to Lloyd Cushenberry, your center, at the Senior Bowl, and he thought the thing switched for you last year in the bowl game. You took the big hit, brought LSU back to win that game. For you, when did the switch happen? Because it seems like this just came out of nowhere, but I think there's more to the story than that.
Yeah, I think everyone wants to point at this one moment, and this was the turning point. And that's just not realistic. I worked really, really hard for a long time, and it was a gradual build-up. I hadn't played for 3 years when I was the starter last year, and I was still learning how to play the game. In practice for 3 years, you don't want to take sacks, and you can't make plays because they'll blow the whistle dead, so you throw the ball away. So that's what I was doing at the beginning of the year. And then, towards the end of the year, I started making plays with my feet, and I remembered that I could run the ball and scramble and make plays outside the structure of the offense. So it was a gradual build-up to what happened this year.
We were joking earlier when we started this morning about the news that you had 9-inch hands and what is. I think you handled it perfectly by making light of the situation. I personally think it's a joke. Like, I was telling these guys, you should have a sign that just says "Watch the tape." That's all you have to do. But when you work out for teams, what do you want to show them? Is there a weakness that you want to show?
I want to show that I have, the arm strength of an NFL quarterback. That's kind of always been my thing from high school to my early years at Ohio State, and then to this year. Everyone's kind of knocking my arm strength, but I feel like, I have the arm strength to be able to play in this league and play at a high level.
So, I'm sorry, Tommy, do you want to?
No, go ahead, Ron.
I want to ask you about the Alabama game and then the Clemson game at the end of the year. In terms of the defensive players you faced, Teron Diggs, for example, the Xavier McKinney on Alabama, and also Isaiah Simmons. Can you talk about how you worked around those guys? Because those are obviously the big parts of those defense, especially intermediate and secondary down the field.
Yeah, Isaiah Simmons, he's one of a kind, man. He's really, really special, and I always had to know where he was going to be. He lined up middle of field safety. He lined up as a pass rusher. He lined up as a nickel corner. He lined up outside. He was everywhere. He's going to be special.
One more thing, when you are preparing for the event, I know you say you don't like talking about last season, but everyone's going to kind of nitpick stuff, though. At the end of the day, with all the measurables and the physical stuff, it's going to be how you process NFL defensive schemes. How much, and again, going back to your time with Joe Brady, having NFL concepts help you make that transition to the NFL, hopefully in a few months, obviously.
I think the best thing that happened to me was I played in 4 different offenses in my 5 years of college. And something that I've always been really, really good at, even when I wasn't the starter, was processing the defense and reading my keys, reading the safety, reading the rotation, seeing the blitzes, making the protection calls to get those blitzes picked up. So that's something I've always done really well. It was a process to get to the physical tools that I needed to play at the level I did last year, but I've always had the mental side.
All right. Well, I know you're busy. Appreciate the time as always. Best of luck this week, and we'll look for you at the draft.
Joe Burrow just giving us a highlight of what his plans are this week, because he's not going to actually throw. Here's what he had to say earlier today.
It's got to be special.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy 6 to 8 months, however you want to look at it. A lot of hard work went into it, and I had great people around me, coaches. I mean, we had 16 guys here this week, and so we had talented players all over the field that were mature and worked really hard.
Joe, just to get this out of the way, if the Bengals select you at number 1, would you happily report to go play for them?
Yeah, I'm not going to not play. I'm a ball player. Whoever picks me, I'm going to go show up.
That would be exciting to be able to play in Ohio professionally, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's 2 hours, 15 minutes from my house. And I could go home for dinner if I wanted to. Not a lot of pro athletes could get to do that.
Do you feel any pressure in this process so far? I mean, being the consensus number 1 pick going to Cincinnati, or is it kind of what you're used to at this point?
You know, this process is all about talking ball, and, you know, the physical stuff they can see on film, but everyone wants to get to know you as a person and as a player as far as the mental side. And I feel like I'm really good at that. I enjoy talking ball with coaches. So I've enjoyed the interviews so far. I'll play whoever for whoever drafts me. You know, I'm just not going to be presumptuous about, you know, what they want to do. It's the draft. You guys have been covering it for a long time. You never know what's going to happen.
Have you spoken with quarterback, or have you spoken to him about it?
I have not yet. That'll be later, I believe. I'm not exactly sure what the schedule is.
Joe, I'm not going to not play. It's different. I want to be the first pick. I want to be a Bengal. Just in your mind, what you want.
Yeah, of course I want to be the first pick. You know, that's every kid's dream. You know, I've worked really, really hard for this opportunity, and I'm blessed to be in this position. And a lot of people helped me get here. So I'm just really excited to be in this place.
Last night you tweeted about the metric on the hand movement.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that's kind of silly? I mean, obviously you perform well, but I mean, you're a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, you know, these measurements, you can take so much from them. If it's a glaring issue on film with turnovers, yeah, it's probably an issue. But, you know, I didn't have a lot of fumbles or anything like that, so I just tried to, you know, make a little joke out of it.
Joe, what are the things you're going to do
It's a good question. You know, it was a grueling season, and this is a grueling week when you play 15 games. I mean, we basically played an NFL season. You know, we were playing into the first week of the playoffs. So I think that the length of the season is really going to help me next year. And then, I mean, this is a grueling week. You guys know how it is. We have medicals, interviews with teams all week. So, you know, it's a long week, but I've enjoyed it.
Joe, what do you want to learn from Cincinnati in this process? You say you don't want to be presumptuous. When you do finally speak to the Bengals, what are some things you want to hear or hope to learn from Duke or Zach?
You know, we're just going to talk ball, just like every other team. I'm excited to, you know, get to know what their offense looks like, what they see from me, what they see that I can get better. That's something I'm asking all these teams when I'm interviewing with them. What do you think I could get better at? Because I'm always trying to learn, always trying to improve.
Joe, to what degree is your concern level when it comes to team staff, team location, and team scheme? If you think about it, if Sean McVay doesn't come to the Rams, who knows what happens to Jared Goff? Or, you know, Tannehill doesn't leave Miami and go to Tennessee, who knows what happens to the trajectory of his career? So to that end, what's your concern level of in terms of where you go and how that actually shapes the future and trajectory of your entire career?
Yeah, you know, I think with any quarterback, fit is really important. But you don't have a lot of say in that in the draft. You know, whoever picks you, and you got to go play. So I'm going to try to make whoever picks me work. I think that my skill set is really diverse, that can fit in a lot of different schemes. So I'm going to try to be the best player I can for whoever drafts me.
There's a quote from you, though, in the, I think, Dallas-Fort Worth Telegram talking about you have leverage in this process or what have you. Obviously, a lot of us know what Eli Manning did back, you know, when he went from the Chargers to the Giants. I mean, have you considered, you know, exercising that, you know, to some degree in terms of putting your influence, in terms of letting teams know where you think fit might be most appropriate for you?
You know, I haven't really thought about it like that. I was kind of talking more about the combine process. So just so everyone knows, I'm not going to throw, I'm not going to work out. So that's kind of what I was talking about. But yeah, I'm going to try to be the best player I can be for whoever drafts me and try to fit in any way that I can.
Okay, so you don't want to influence the process?
No. can't as a rookie. You know, hopefully I can become a vet and, you know, influence that process and have some say in personnel decisions like the veterans do now. But until then, can't do anything about it.
Joe, all the parts of being a quarterback, obviously you have to play well, and that's what as a first-round pick, being the face of the franchise, that kind of thing. What you did at LSU, how prepared do you think you are for all the other parts of being a first-round, maybe number 1 pick quarterback for a franchise?
Yeah, I think, you know, I have a little more experience with it than a lot of people because I was at 2 premier programs and saw guys like JT Barrett do it, and I did it myself at LSU. So I've had a lot of different experiences that I think have helped shape my mentality when it comes to that. And so I think I'm very prepared to be that guy when it's asked of me.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.